Hey, welcome back. And we're going to be talking a little bit about overview of what our Ped Bike committee has been working on. And a lot of good people working on the overall issues of how we able to transport ourselves around in the community by walking and biking, and just how we interface with our other transportation systems. And we're going to talk a little bit about a new pilot project that has been talked about, and we're going to talk a little more about it. So with that, I welcome my guests, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Erling Heistad. I'm the council rep to the Bike Ped Committee. And I think I've seen it develop a little bit in that I remember the first day that we went from one-way traffic around it to two-way, and then I got stopped by a policeman that morning. And it was May 1st, 1956.
Wow.
And he said, "Boys, remember we only go around the park one way now." And I've seen problems develop since then, and I've watched the city try to address these. And in '92, the city council decided to have a Bike Ped committee to try to address the safety problems. And I'm happily working with that group.
I'm sure you're at work, and I'm glad the other members are at work. My own little story about when I came for a job interview with the city council, I of course sat in Colburn Park and tried to, and thought what a wonderful space it is for human beings to be out there and standing on Colburn Park, looking up and seeing the city hall, and then watching a lot of different types of situations where people would come by and go through. It was, at the time, it was in winter, and it reminded me of a Christmas card, the whole event. And at Lebanon, my first feeling about Lebanon is that it was just like a Christmas card. And I took my cell phone out and called my wife on the phone, said I was in a place that should be on a Christmas card. So it's pretty neat over there. I know you've spent a lot of time trying to deal with this, Dave.
Definitely. My name is David Brooks. I am the senior planner with the City of Lebanon. I've been with the city since 2005. I've been working with the Ped and Bike Committee since then, among other duties. But you're right, the Colburn Park it really is sort of the heart of the city. It hosts many of the major events, the farmers markets, the concerts, the graduations and car shows, and there's always a good reason to make that a destination when you're in the city. So the Ped and Bike Committee has, among other things, been working to try to make it safer, more attractive, more convenient to get to Colburn Park. So,
you know, and I just applaud the effort here in this regard. Some of the findings of people who study our generational changes as we go through society have indicated that the generation, which is my starts and begins before my children, into my children are all 20-somethings, is that one of the things they look for is they want to have a cool community. I mean, that's really, people used to travel for jobs or other purposes that might be vocational, but now people, and as the generations come forward, it appears that they're more interested in being in a cool place, a place that's kind of the quality they want. And then when you go kind of drill down and ask them what's a cool place, with regard to transportation, it's one of the things that people that in the generation that's going through here and coming up is that it needs to be a place I can walk. It needs a place I can bike. It needs a place I can use public transportation. And so it very much needs that kind of atmosphere. And I guess that's what we're kind of working on. We're trying to work on an equilibrium, aren't we?
Yep. Yep.
The safety part is a big one for feeling this is your home, this is your place. And that's a big part of what the committee's been charged with trying to address. And the last 6 years, we've had 64 accidents with 13 injuries right around the Colburn Park. And over 10 a year is too many. So we're trying to address that and make it safer.
It is, because we want a safe and well community. And we have a video today that's on the website, the city's website. So feel free to go on the website and find it. It's on the website. I think it's a very interesting video, and we're going to pause to show the video, and then we're going to come back and talk about it a little bit.
Okay.
So I hope everyone enjoys this video.
Hi, I'm Dan Burden. For the past 30 years, I've helped more than 3,500 communities throughout the world take steps to become more walkable and livable, better connected, more prosperous, more sustainable, and healthier. Let's look at some of the ways to do that in your community. One really, really cool tool for improving walkability and livability is head-out angled parking. What is it, and why should a community do it? Parking is a precious commodity in any community, and on-street parking is the best type of parking to have. On-street parking reduces the need for parking garages and other off-street parking that gobbles up land, infrastructure, and resources. Perhaps most important is that it supports walkability and livability by calming traffic and creating an important buffer between cars and people. On-street parking also invites drivers to stop and visit a place. In fact, in a good retail district, one on-street parking space can bring in tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars in additional retail activity every year. So, on-street parking is good. And of the different kinds of on-street parking, head-out angled parking is the best. Angled parking of any type allows more parking spaces than parallel parking. And head-out angled parking is the safest. When you start the maneuver to get into a head-out angled parking spot, just like with any other type of parking, you are in control of the traffic behind you. But then, when you go to pull out, you're heading out and can see what's coming, including other cars and people on bicycles. Head-out angled parking also tends to calm traffic even more than parallel parking, bringing vehicle speeds down about another 5 miles per hour, which makes a real difference in safety for all people. When parking in a head-out angled parking spot, when you open the car doors, passengers are directed toward the sidewalk, away from moving traffic. This is especially important to parents of young children, seniors, and other passengers who need a little extra help. And how's this for convenience and safety? In a head-out angled parking space, you don't have to stand near moving traffic to get into your trunk. You access your trunk from the sidewalk. Head-out angled parking isn't difficult. Although it may initially be unfamiliar to some, head-out parking actually is much easier to do than parallel parking. It's really just the first maneuver of parallel parking. Nevertheless, when you start installing head-out parking, take the time to educate people about how to use it and to make drivers feel comfortable doing it. So there you have it. Yet another way to start making your community more walkable, more livable.
I hope everyone's enjoyed that video. I think that 2 points that I want to make sure we discuss in TouchPod. First, it's a pilot. And I think the way we do change is important because it's time for all of us to learn and experience and make our interpretations. And that when we talk about such a thing as a heads-out parking, we're talking about in strategic areas. It's really another tool in our toolkit that we can address some of these issues that we're trying to make a safe community for all walkers, bikers, and vehicles and for mass transportation. So could you describe, as we heard the video, could you react on what you saw in the video and what we're putting out into our webpage?
This was totally new to me when I became involved a couple of years ago discussing this. And it was a big surprise to me to discover that Wilmington, Delaware has been doing it for 60 years and requiring it for 60 years. And that they have a street going by that takes 6,500 cars a day, and that head-out parking has facilitated a much safer and calming environment. So to me, it was a big change. I'd never seen it, never tried it. However, I have done some trial parking over in Home Depot's parking lot, and I recommend anybody to try it. It's simple, easy, and we've only got 10 spaces. It's 0.04% of our parking spaces, and it's just a trial. And if we can go ahead and try something, make it work.
Right. It's really just, it's a pilot project. We're testing it out. We're testing out the concept. It's a limited focus. It's only on 10 spaces right around the park. It's not all of the spaces around the park. If we determine that it's successful, then and only then would we evaluate other areas around the city to see if it works. as we know and can expect, it's not going to be the right solution in every situation, but where we think it can work, we think it's a safer way to park and a safer way to make the roadway usable for all users.
And I think that's the spirit in which we're doing these things. I'm sure all of our ancestors came to our different places in where we learned to reside with a lot of spirit of adventure and exploration, and I think that's what's made so healthy and so vital around here, is that these very creative people live here, and willing to talk about ideas and willing to explore ideas, and I think that you that's the kind of spirit we're in. But at the same time, we're frugal, we're careful, we're considerate decision makers, so we don't do things rashly, so when we do a pilot, we'll evaluate, but we want to engage you in evaluating. You can try it on, you can just witness, you can observe, so you can act or observe. There's lots of roles for different people with regard to what we're attempting to do.
Right.
And with that being said, I kind of invite everybody to decide what role you might want to do. Observe, participate. I'm a copycat. I too found myself out into one of the big box stores parking lot with my wife doing what's the right word?
Head out parking.
Head out party.
There we
Because people
go.
talk about that we're going backwards. Well, we're going forwards because we're going to head out. And see how it feels, and see how far you could see compared, or see what other people could see compared with the other direction, and see how you feel once you get it under your under control in terms of what you think you might see.
Feels completely natural when you do it.
It feels a lot more natural, than I think people might suspect.
Right.
But
It might seem unfamiliar, but people are already backing out of parking spaces every day.
yeah.
It's like, do you drive out of a driveway, or do you want to turn around and back out of the driveway?
So
It's much better to drive out, I
with that,
think.
we'll conclude by we invite everyone to come to the center of the city of Lebanon, which is Colburn Park, and come around the circle there and join us. And remember, what we're doing here is we're doing a myriad of things to try to figure out how we can build a sustainable community.
And there will be more communication as we get closer to actually implementing the striping. The word will go out on the website and newsletters and on the sandwich board right at the parking spot.
Valley News, we'll have it out.
Well, and please look into that website of ours. If you have trouble getting it, go to the library, ask a librarian to see the city website, ask them to find the page with regard to this head out parking, and they'll help you and they'll get you right place. Also, sign up for Leb Alert. Sign up for Leb Alert, and we'll send you a Leb Alert on all the subjects to come in the city. We want you to sign up for Leb Alert. Thanks, everyone. We had a good day, and it was a good opportunity to share this. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.